one here is an important one. But it's a little bit complicated to set up. And the point here is this is the fundamental limit of cryptocurrency. The point of cryptocurrency is you should not have to trust anybody. I mean, if you're willing to trust somebody like a bank, you don't need cryptocurrency or Visa or MasterCard. You're just trusting them. And if they rip you off, you can go to court and sue them. But cryptocurrency, the idea was you don't have to trust anybody. Instead, there's all these independent miners mining things and nodes validating things, and you can't lose your money unless there was a conspiracy that would involve more than half of them lying. And this is how you get to see that working. So in normal synchronization, Alice will do a transaction sending money to Bob, and that'll be on this node, and it'll percolate to this other node, and all the nodes will be synchronized. That's the plan. But you could do a double spending if there was a slow network. I could send money from Alice to Bob, and I could send the same coins from Alice to a different account over here. And if there's a slow network between them, it would be a while before these two nodes communicated and realized that this is a contradiction. And by the way, they call this float. People also call it check kiting. It happens in the real world too. You can write a check, and since the check will take a couple of days to clear, you can write another check, and it will be a while before they discover that you've overdrawn your account. It amounts to the same thing. So the 51% attack means that you can, if one miner controls more than half of the total power, they can choose which transaction to keep. And all you have to do is be ahead. If you can mine faster than other people by owning more than half of the blockchain mining power, then you will always win. I mean, you can win frequently. And the longer chain will match. So what happens, suppose this link is so slow that it's like an hour before they can communicate. This will keep on mining a block every 10 minutes if it's blockchain, so it'll have several blocks. This will have several blocks. When they finally communicate, the longer chain wins and the shorter one is pruned and discarded. So one of these people is going to get ripped off. Either Bob or Kara is not really going to get that money. And if you owned 51%, you could choose which of them would lose the money. All right, and that's the double spend problem. So you can simulate that with Bitcoin. You can download Bitcoin Core with wget and run it on a Linux machine, and you can create two nodes running on the same machine. You launch a node here with an RPC password, and then you can generate a wallet, create a wallet, and get a balance, and it will show you have nothing in there. Then you can start a second node the same way, and then you can mine some blocks. These commands get a long list of blockchains for 50 blocks, and now you'll win an award for mining those blocks. This is, of course, a test network, not the real Bitcoin network. Then you can connect to the second node and mine 51 more blocks. Now each of them has some money. One of them has some money and the other one has some money. Now you can generate a wallet on the node, and you can send 2 Bitcoins from Alice to Bob, mine a block, and then you can perform a double spend account, generate a third account. You can simulate this. Finding an unspent balance, you can create the Alice to Bob transaction, and then you create the Alice to Kara transaction, and you disconnect the nodes. You can remove their connection to each other so they cannot communicate, and then submit this to Alice's miner. So one transaction is run on Alice's miner, and you submit the other one to Bob's miner, so each of them will mine it and build a blockchain with that transaction. So they're building contradictory blockchains. The blockchain has now forked, going down different paths. And then you can verify them and mine a block here, check the block count. Now, if you are 51%, you can control which one of these is going to be longer. So you mine an extra block over here, and then when you connect them back together, that one will win and the other one will get pruned. So you get to choose who really gets the money. So you could pay somebody for something and also send that coins back to an account you own. Just pay yourself back, and then arrange that the amount you paid them will be pruned off every time. So you could spend money and have it not ever really reach the person it's going to reliably. That's the 51% and the double spend attack that people are very worried about. And this has been done to several cryptocurrencies, but the minor ones, not Bitcoin. And this is what people are worried about on Ethereum. Now, Ethereum abandoned proof of work about a month ago, and they switched to a new, more complicated system called proof of stake, which uses much less electricity, but it remains to be seen whether it is secure. The Bitcoin purists think this is a terrible idea, and they expect there to be a terrible hack and Ethereum to lose their money. But Ethereum people claim they've been smart enough and it's secure enough that that won't happen, and we're going to see. But the Bitcoin people are generally purists, and they say we will never abandon proof of work because it's very secure. But it's only secure if nobody can control 51% of the nodes. And that has never happened yet, although it could have happened about 4 years ago when China had almost all the nodes. The government of China could have stepped in and controlled them, but they didn't. And now they're spread around again. So anyway, that's the 51% attack.